1962. In New York, the Cuban Missile Crisis takes center stage at the United Nations Security Council. Ambassador Adlai Stevenson presents photographic evidence of Soviet missile bases in Cuba. Stevenson challenges Soviet Ambassador Valerian Zorin in this memorable Cold War exchange.
You're in the court of world opinion right now, and you can answer yes or no. You have denied that they exist. I want to know if I've understood you correctly.
Continue your statement, please. You will receive the answer in due course. Do not worry.
I'm prepared to wait for my answer until hell freezes over, if that's your decision.
1971. China's seat at the United Nations changes hands. The UN General Assembly votes to admit communist mainland China and expel Taiwan. 1983. An American-led force invades Grenada to oust a leftist government allied with Cuba and the Soviet Union. President Ronald Reagan calls the action necessary to protect U.S. citizens on the Caribbean island nation. 1854. The battle that inspires the poem The Charge of the Light Brigade happens during the Crimean War. An English brigade of more than 600 men, facing hopeless odds, charges Russia's army during the Battle of Balaclava and suffers heavy losses. 1400. Geoffrey Chaucer, author of the Canterbury Tales, one of English literature's greatest works, dies in London. And 1999, golfer Payne Stewart and 5 others are killed when their Learjet crashes in South Dakota after flying uncontrolled for 4 hours. Stewart was 42 years old. Today in History, October 25th, Carlotta Bradley, The Associated Press.
This is Across Our Wide Missouri with Bob Pretty.
Balaclava is a long ways from Springfield, Missouri in time and distance. It's remembered in literature for one historic event which years later motivated a chivalrous Hungarian officer in the United States Army to prove his flamboyant unit was more than the parlor pets that the critics were calling them. The story of what he did in a minute.
Hi friends, I'll return to you to First Cup in just a few seconds, but I want to take this moment to remind you that my friend Maria loves to take photographs of nature, and for years she wanted to take up photography, and so finally she did. She lives in a rural area of Ohio, which gives her a great chance to photograph all sorts of things. So I want you to check out her pictures of nature just by going to my website and go to the Friends page at tinyurl.com/Gunther's House or /Gunther Mobile and check out Maria Sewer Fine Art Today.
Confederacy desperately wanted to hang on to Springfield during the winter of 1861 to maintain some kind of toehold in Missouri so the South would be in a better striking position in the spring. The job of dislodging them went to Major Charles Zagonyi, the commander of a special bodyguard unit for General John Fremont. John Fremont had been commander of the Western Army since July, but his experience as a military commander was a series of mistakes. When Missouri began to boil over in the summer of '61, Fremont delayed taking firm action, virtually abdicating much of the authority to Nathaniel Lyon and Frank Blair. Later, he failed to reinforce Lyon in the southwestern campaign that ended with Lyon's death and Union retreat at Wilson's Creek. Then he delayed too long, reinforcing Lexington, which fell to the rebels. He already was under critical fire when he issued an order in August that all Southern sympathizers convicted of carrying arms would be shot and their slaves freed. President Lincoln would not tolerate that kind of repression in a state teetering between North and South anyway. He countermanded the order and then ordered Fremont to give up his command of the Western Department. But communications were slow, and by the time the order was issued, Fremont had taken his army to the Springfield area. Fremont and his men camped about 50 miles north of Springfield. It was there that Major Zagonyi asked permission to make the surprise attack, partly to celebrate the anniversary of the charge of the Light Brigade at Balaclava. He also wanted to prove his men could fight. The unit had been derided in St. Louis because of their fancy uniforms, their kid gloves, and immaculately groomed horses. Zagonyi's unit was not discovered until it was 8 miles from Springfield, when it ran into a Confederate foraging party. One forager escaped to spread the warning to Springfield and the Confederate troops. When Zagonyi brought his troops out of some woods about 4 p.m. near the Mount Vernon Road that day, State Guard troops were waiting in numbers larger than expected, 800 cavalry, 200 infantry soldiers. For 250 yards, the Southern troops poured fire into Union forces, while Zagonyi's men dashed for the shelter of a small stream. There the major was able to rally his troops and to launch a head-on charge toward the Southerners. For a few minutes the state militiamen held their ground, firing rapidly, but when their lines broke, they fled into nearby dense woods. Headlong again, charging into the woods, the Union forces pushed the Southerners back into Springfield, through the town, and out of the city. One Southern lieutenant refused to surrender, although hopelessly cut off from his men. Zagonyi later wrote, "He was a brave man. I felt some pity to kill him." Zagonyi galloped into Springfield and ran his flag up the courthouse flagpole, but his bugler could not sound assembly because the mouthpiece on the bugle had been shot away during the fighting. Zagonyi's own tunic was ripped across the breast by a bullet. He stayed long enough to free imprisoned Union soldiers, take more than $4,000 from a bank, and count his losses. He estimated 15 men dead, 10 wounded, 28 missing. He also listed 106 of Price's militiamen killed in the assault, although the figures might be inflated. Fremont entered Springfield 2 days later. He was now in a position to deliver a final blow that would push Price out of the state, but it was then that the order was delivered that removed him from command. Price later retook the city. Furthermore, the War Department refused to recognize Major Zagonyi's unit, Fremont's bodyguard, as a legitimate military unit, and it was mustered out. Fremont's months of delay elsewhere had cost him dearly at the precise moment he could make his move. But the attack would remain one of the more colorful episodes of Missouri's Civil War history, when Charles Zagonyi led his own charge of the Light Brigade into Springfield on this date, October 25, 1861.
Welcome back to Studio 27 on this Friday morning, the 25th day of October, 2013. And coming up in a few minutes, I'll have the CBS World News Roundup for you, along with News of the Weird, popular tweets of the day, what's on TV tonight, the song of the day. But what do you say we take care of the Friday Freddies first before market news? So we'll get that queued up right now. And the comedian of choice this week is Louis Anderson, and this is from 1988.
Prepare for stupidity.
Pay attention to me, boy. I'm not just talking to hear my head roar.
Spit out the golf ball.
Waka waka, who wants to hear a funny-ass joke?
That's what she said.
Going to work, yeah. I was at the airport. Police come in. What the hell's wrong with that guy? Ah, he's been to the airport. I've seen him a million times. Probably dropped a friend off. Do you guys have this friend? No matter where you go, when you get back, they ask you what you paid for your airline ticket. Hey, what did it cost you there to go to London? Oh, I think it was $600. Huh! I went there for $2. Hotel, airfare, car, everything. Here's the receipt right there. You hate those people, don't you? I don't like airports either. Never check your bags. I lost my bags once. I know Pee Wee Herman somewhere going with my underwear. Carry your bags on. And then you go through security. Does anybody feel secure there? You ever feel worried for yourself where you go to the guy that says, hey, could you check that guy again? Isn't he on my flight? I wouldn't let that guy on my boat. And they won't because they're too busy with some Texan going, it must be my belt. And my gate's always gate 80. A 3-hour walk, you know. Is that my plane? You know my doctor's in on it. Well, we got him walking to the gate. Gate 80. Snack bars are closed. We got it all. And I always believe the airlines. I always, they say, get there an hour early, you get there an hour early. You're the only person there. Big donkey ears pop up in your head. The guy in the corner, look at that. Hey, that's the guy who paid $600 for those tickets. Do you ever notice how dumb you get when you get on an airplane? You can't even read your seat number on that ticket. Is this a 9? Am I in row 9? Where would 9 be? Is it back there? It is. Did I go back there? 9? Are you going near 9? Would you point it out if you see it? Row 4. Row 5. That's 9. Have we seen 9? Pretty soon someone pushes, get in there! Thank you. And then isn't it true that no matter what, if you're the first person on the plane, if you reach to put your bags up, it's full? Whose is this stuff? Guy in the back going, huh? Marge, look at that guy that paid $600 for those tickets. And they try to relax you at the airlines. Isn't that a good feeling? They bring you peanuts. That's their big thing, I'm relaxed. And you're happy to see them. We're safe now. Well, have they ever passed you by? Is this a non-peanut roll? Geez, I paid $600 for these seats. Am I over the weight limit, or? You ask her. You have to ask her, hey, can I get They get mad. They come back, throw them at you. Here! Thanks. Well, at least we got them. I like first class. Get almonds up there. You get to eat first, you get on the plane first, you get the magazines first. They even close that curtain. Everybody's in the back. I always feel sorry for those people, though. I keep them up on what's going on, though. We're eating now. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. We don't have thank you very much. We don't have a picture or on tape, all the All-Stars together.
Louis Anderson from 1988 on today's Friday Funnies, where the motto is...
Sometimes we're funny, sometimes we suck.
And most of the time I think we're pretty funny, but then sometimes we suck, just like this singer said. It's time for the Midday Market Update, and let's go to APM Radio.
A little good news on the economic front, maybe. Maybe?
Marketplace Morning Report is produced in association with the University of Southern California.
From APM in New York, I'm Lizzie O'Leary with the Marketplace Midday Update. The Commerce Department says we're buying more stuff. Big stuff, meant to last 3 years or more. Cars, machinery, airplanes. In economist speak, it's durable goods. And the government says orders for durable stuff are up. But the headline number could be a little misleading. We called up Chris Lowe, chief economist at FTN Financial, for help. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Lizzie.
So we got pretty